What is good, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with another NFL reaction because it is playoff season. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it.
Baker, the fans tonight were all out in the stadium at the end of the
Hey,
first
congrats
quarter.
to Baker, man. Baker's killing it this season. He's having his best season. This is one hell of a season.
Yeah, big difference in tonight's game compared to the first one with how many Eagles fans were here tonight. Tampa showed up, and so we appreciate that. Unfortunately, it was the last one here, so but it was electric. We could feel the energy, and we fed off that. Big time. They were running a couple coverages where they were double teaming Mike and Chris at the same time, so those guys had a lot of one-on-ones and took advantage of their opportunities, but they played amazing. Obviously, that pretty simple plays that they did the rest, so it's always good as a quarterback just to be able to give it to them, an easy throw, and they do the rest. So happy for those guys.
So I just wanted to say, shout out Baker. He's been doing really, really well this season for Tampa Bay. And what's crazy is at the beginning of the season, most people counted Tampa Bay out. They didn't think they were going to go anywhere, none of that. And look at where they are now. You got to give not only Baker his props, but also Todd Bowles. That defense also showed up in the game. I mean, the Eagles didn't score anything. Well, they scored 9 points. Yay, a whole 9 points. Whip-de-doo, right? Was it 9? It's 9 points, right? Just want to make sure. Yes, okay, they scored a whole 9 points. Whip-de-doo, but you got to give it to Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles in that rush package. Todd Bowles got a rush package. That's crazy. And then also the offense. The offense showed up. You know, it's not like the Eagles just scored 9 points and let's say the offense just happened to score 10 points and that's how the game went. No, they scored 34, right? It was 34? No, 32. Sorry, my bad. It was 32. 32 points, obviously led by Baker. And something I also want to add is that when your best receivers are always going to be double teamed. That's how it works. Your best receivers are going to be double teamed. So then when you're throwing a passing play, you have to look on those one-on-one matchups, the other guys. That's why people are now throwing a lot more to tight ends than they used to. People are throwing a lot more to, I don't want to be mean, but like no-name receivers because they have those one-on-one matchups, and this is their time to shine, right? But let's go ahead and jump back into it.
Yeah, I said immediately after the game, we worked extremely hard to get a chance to be in the playoffs, and we just wanted an opportunity, and our guys came out and played really, really well. Special teams, defense, once again, Chase is a stud. Defense played lights out. We should have had a lot more points on offense, but we did just enough to get the win tonight, and we're happy, but still got more to go.
What I liked about what he just said is that we as an offense, we should have gotten more points. Mate, they won 32-9, but he's saying we should have gotten a lot more points. That's great leadership. That's leadership right there because you know that there are still things you can improve on and still things to get better, so much to the point that you feel like you didn't even do enough in a 32-9 win against a team that was in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl last season. Like, that's crazy. Shout out Baker Mayfield. Let's get back straight into it.
Vision, you come in here a home underdog, you take their business. How are you feeling right now following a big win like this and knowing
how are you an underdog at home?
The Lions next week?
Just proud of our guys.
Especially the way
Proud
the Eagles were playing.
To stick
like,
together
I don't get
we
how
did
you're
the
underdog
second
at
half of the
home.
year and to get to this spot, just to keep fighting, to stick together, and don't listen to the outside noise. Just trust the people next to you.
Was it easier to throw the ball physically today? Was it easier for you to throw the ball physically today than last Sunday?
Felt a lot better.
Remember, guys, if you're doing big things, there's going to be outside noise. But what Baker just said makes a whole lot of sense. Don't listen to the outside noise. Like I said just now, everyone didn't even think of Tampa Bay doing anything this season. They just beat the team that was in the Super Bowl last year.
Eagles have take us through your injuries and what you had to do to get ready for tonight and how they may or may not have affected you tonight.
Just a lot more rehab and treatment.
I forgot. He was even injured. He had a bad ankle and some bad ribs.
6 years now. So
and he's dominated.
Twice this week and
round of
see him
applause,
again tomorrow.
Baker. Hell
Just
yeah.
it's all the your body is your product, and it's like the one job you have to do is to get ready physically to be able to play. So everybody in the locker room at this point of the year, it's a long season. Everybody's fighting some sort of injury, and everybody did the best they could to prepare.
Something people need to also understand when it comes to like really tough contact sports like football, American football, sorry, and rugby, for example, is that you're always going through injuries. Like, it's a part of the game. You're always going to go through injuries. Obviously, some injuries more worse than others, but you're always going to go through injuries. This man had bad ribs and a bad ankle and showed up. I got to give Baker his props so far this season. This might be his best season, man. Former number one overall pick. Everyone was trashing his name, and this is how he showed up. I got to give him his props, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah. When I just immediately think back about the Lions game, a lot of missed throws by me. I think we had a lot of stuff there. Just didn't play our best game offensively, and so we'll look back at the tape once we get into the game plan stuff. But we're very different than we were early on in the year, and that's something to be proud of, that we've been continuing to improve, and we haven't reinvented the wheel. We've just stuck with it and just gotten better at the little things.
Trey Palmer, a rookie, can you speak to just his development over the entire year?
Yeah, obviously the guy can roll, so just him being able to play fast, and for rookies, you don't want to cloud their head with too much to learn, but when you're able to get a guy that he can learn the system and play to his top speed, it just goes to show. I mean, he showed tonight. So those guys got to be ready for their one-on-ones just because we have Chris and Mike. And so everybody took care of that.
You heard what he said at the end. Those guys got to be ready for their one-on-ones because they can't find Mike. And the reason, again, like I mentioned earlier, in a scheme, your best receiver is going to be double-teamed. They're going to do the most to make sure your best receiver doesn't get the ball, right? And your best receiver is going to have to find a way to work within that. But then it opens up more space for the other receivers, like Palmer, who's a rookie. I didn't even know Palmer was a rookie. That's crazy. But Palmer, who's a rookie, gets those one-on-one matchups, and if you can win those one-on-one matchups, you can shine. And Palmer shined in this game. He shined this game. I'll go ahead and show you the stats. I'll talk about the stats at the end, but let's go ahead and continue.
We have a great locker room, great staff that, just the leadership overall. We lean on each other. We trust each other. Just doing your job and knowing that the guy next to you is going to do his. And so that's accountability for yourself and for your teammates, and it's amazing to see the growth that this team has had in the second half of the year.
And how does this playoff win compare to your first one?
It's pretty good.
Is it even sweeter considering the journey you were on this past year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to directly compare, but yeah, obviously the ups and downs that I've been through in the last few years, this one's great, but like I said earlier, our sights are set for bigger goals, and so on to the next one. Yeah, there's something about whether you're an underdog or a road game, just having your backs against the wall and knowing it's just your team versus everybody else when you're counted out, and it's always fun to be in that role. Obviously, I'm pretty comfortable in it, but our team has completely embraced that throughout the year.
I just want to say something about the underdog role. Being an underdog means that they're counting you out. They're saying that the other team is going to beat you, right? Which means you play with house money. So it does come with a different kind of confidence when playing because you're the one playing with house money. Everyone is projecting that the other team is going to beat you. So you should be playing with relax. The pressure's not on you. It's on them to beat you. Don't forget that, guys. Do not forget that.
You can feel it. And it comes down to guys just executing too. Like we talked about when we went on a little lull mid-season, we just weren't doing little things right, and when that makes it really tough on a play caller. So Dave was feeling it tonight, and our guys took advantage of it. Oh, I don't know the science. I just let him do the work.
Whatever he does to you, right?
Yeah, he's a glutton for punishment and pain.
How painful is it when he has to do that?
It's not fun, but it's worth it.
Baker, take us to the last touchdown pass, because Philadelphia, they put some pressure over you, and desperately you throw the pass.
We talked about it, had one play call in the huddle, and just gave the guys the heads up they might bring cover zero, and they did. So got the alert, changed the protection, changed the concept, and Chris did a really, really good job of when it's
he
cover
says
zero,
Chris, he's
those
saying
guys
Chris
are
Godwin.
just trying to play at a certain point, and then when Chris sticks his foot in the ground and runs, he was right on the landmark. And Dave and Brad always talk about when it's cover zero, just look up for the ball, and he did. Wasn't the best ball, but he caught it. So 14's down there somewhere.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that's the end of the video. But I just want to say, I really like Baker, the way Baker's carried himself in this press conference, because he sounds very much like a leader. Like, he even said at the end there, it wasn't even the best ball to Chris, but he got it. So he's thankful for Chris even being there, and that's just great leadership, because you want to praise those who are fighting alongside you. Even if you may not be the best, which he's obviously not the best quarterback, but he did have a great game. Like, he did have a good game, Let me go ahead and jump into the stats just so I can tell you what the stats was for everybody. And we're going to start with the passing leaders for both Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Obviously, Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield. Jalen had 25 out of 35, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, right? And then Baker had 22 out of 36, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, okay? That's what we're talking about. I told you, this man had a monster game. Like, this is the Baker Mayfield that people wanted when he was drafted. I give him a round of applause. Don't get me wrong, I haven't always been, like, the biggest proponent for Baker, but you got to give him his props where his props are due, right? Let's go ahead for the rushing yards. It's crazy for me in terms of rushing yards to see these stats. Like, the number 1 rushing yards for Philadelphia was DeAndre Swift, 10 attempts, 34 yards, right? But what's crazy is this team was supposed to be known for their run game. That's what their last season, this team's run game was, I wouldn't say unstoppable, but really, really good, really good. They have not been the same since. I think it was definitely because of the coordinators leaving. But Mr. White on Tampa Bay had the rushing leader, had 18 attempts, 72 yards. And then to the receiving, Devontae Smith showed up because they didn't have A.J. Brown. I forgot about that. They didn't have A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith did show up, though. He had 12 targets, 8 receptions, 148 yards, which is actually pretty good. And then the receiving leader for Tampa Bay was Mr. Otten, right? And that's their tight end. 11 targets, 8 receptions, 89 yards. It's actually crazy. I don't know why Philadelphia didn't get Dallas involved more. Like, that's what's his name? That's Jalen's safety blanket. Dallas Goedert is Jalen's safety blanket. I don't know why they didn't get him more involved. It doesn't make any sense. But as you can see, like, remember I told you, like, your best receivers are going to get double teamed. Mike Evans only had 7 targets, 3 receptions, and 48 yards, right? Because they were double teaming him. And then Baker was talking about, Chris Godwin, had 5 targets, 4 receptions, and 45 yards. Because they're going to double team your best players. They're always going to do that. But those are the stats. And then we're going to go ahead and look at the team stats. Something I found interesting in the team stats, Philadelphia had 0 for 9 third down conversions. 0 for 9. Not the same team we saw last year. Absolutely not the same team. Tampa Bay had 6 for 14. 6 for 14, okay? Then fourth down conversions, Philadelphia had 0 for 2, while Tampa Bay had 1 for 2. But it's crazy when I looked at that stat that their third down conversions was 0 for 9. On top of that, time of possession, Philadelphia only had 25 minutes and 57 seconds. Tampa Bay had 34 minutes and 3 seconds. Almost 10 minutes more. And time of possession matters, because that means that they had the ball more and the defense was on the field more, okay? And the offense was on the field more. You got to put on points. You've got to get stops. That means the defense was not getting stops. You've got to get stops, okay? But that's the end of it for this video. I want to thank you again for watching. Again, the goal of 2024 is to build the community. So if you know of anybody who's into American football, who also wants to give their opinion, or just wants to talk, let them know about the channel. Share this video with them. And if you did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I want to thank you so much. Let's go. It's the NFL playoffs. Super excited to see what happens next. Enjoy the rest of your day, y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.